In the name of God, the beneficent and merciful, we bear witness of the one God to whom praise is due forever. Thank you for your presence. Thank you for your time. And thank you for being here today. We are here on behalf of Chace Calicut, a young man that we believe has been wrongfully accused and wrongfully charged in this case. This young man did not commit a crime on that night. That young man right here, early hours of the morning, he didn't harm anyone. He didn't shoot anyone. He never had a gun. He never had a weapon. He was not involved in a crime. In fact, it's a shame that the lead detectives in this case never once attempted to come and speak to him and interview him. Why would the detectives Google his name and know who he is and what he had accomplished and where he was headed in life, but yet they never took the opportunity or even attempted to knock at this door, ring the doorbell, reach out to his parents and say, can we interview your son, or can we speak to this young man? Never went to his coaches and said, yes, he had practice, can we speak to him? What kind of investigators would conduct such a sensitive investigation involving young kids and young people, and you never even take the opportunity or make the attempt to speak to this young man nor his family? Had they spoken to this young man, they would have learned he was a victim that night. They would have learned he was a victim, not a criminal. Let me reiterate to you one more time and very crystal clear. He was a victim that night, not a criminal. He wanted to come home. He wanted to leave the situation. He wanted to go about his business. But under threat, make it crystal clear, under threat, this young man was in the vehicle, under threat. He did not want to participate in anything criminal. He knew his opportunities were right before him. He knew what he worked so hard to accomplish. He knew his family's hopes and desires in him, even his own ambitions and desires. He made it crystal clear, man, I got a lot to lose, man, I don't want to do this. I'm going to go home. Under threat was he in that vehicle. He was a victim. And all they had to do, the detectives, was reach out to this family, and he could have received credible information, in fact, evidence to prove that this young man was not a criminal, that he too that night was a victim. Father, come say something about your son.
Well, what I'd like to do, I'd like to thank the entire community, friends and family who's been supporting us, sending out prayers and well wishes. And I want to say we will get through this. Thank you.
And let me speak about this bond he was placed under. That racist witch, Denise Collins, who has a history of mistreating African-American people in the Harris County Criminal Courthouse, put this boy under some bonds that are disgraceful. He had a $20,000, $25,000 bond. That was respectable. He has no criminal history. He hasn't been in trouble, but yet she put him under those bonds totaling $150. But yet in that same courtroom, you got child molesters out of jail on cheaper bonds. You got repeat career criminals out of jail charged with the same exact type charges as this young man. You got murderers in that same courtroom out on the streets with cheaper bonds. Why did she do this to him? Because she wanted to make a little name for herself in trying to show she's tough on criminals and tough on crime, because there was camera presence at the courtroom. That's a shame. It's wrong. This young boy ain't been in trouble. He has no criminal history. Why in the hell would she put those bonds on him, knowing this same visiting judge, Miss Collins, in that same courtroom, they got murderers and child molesters on the streets with cheaper bonds? We'll take, I'm sorry, go ahead, Dr. Mason.
Dr. Candice Matthews. This hits home a little bit for me because my child was at that party. This party was close by my house. My child is the same age as this young man. My child graduated from Klein High School. My child, when she asked me, her and her friends, to go to this party, and if it was not for my husband that came back from shooting pool and told me that this party looked like that is not supervised, I got on that phone and told my daughter, get your butt home now. And right after that, this incident happened. So this is too close. And I want to send a message to the community, is that do not send your children and let them go to parties and is not supervised, or it does not have the proper security. Because guess what? This could have simply been my child. This could have simply been your child. We have to have some type of coalition where we surround these families with our children, to have like a watchdog type initiative where we can make sure that our children are properly supervised, because we want them to be teenagers. We want them to enjoy their teenage years. We all did, but not like this. And for that judge, Brother Quanell, this is something for me to say about this judge. I plan on doing a judicial complaint on that judge in regards to that, because that is clearly a violation of several judicial canons. So I say this to you guys, to the family. We definitely support you all 110%, because at the end of the day, this is a promising young man. I've actually seen this young man play football. I've seen this young man with my nephew. So it's obvious that this was racially driven, because if not, you would have followed the procedures correctly when it comes to dealing with a sensitive investigation. Thank you.
We'll take your questions.
Obviously, in Texas, there's a law of parties. If I'm writing with you, Quanell, and I
And-
something, then you subject to.
And you're right, in Texas, there's something called the law of parties. When two or more are in a vehicle and there's a crime committed, then everybody is charged. That is true. But had they done a correct investigation, a proper investigation, they would have learned that this young man was a victim in the vehicle that night, not a criminal. And so what they went ahead and did is quickly went ahead and charged this young fella. When they had time to come and speak to him and his family, they could have been given proof that he is a victim, but we're going to share that proof to prove it too.
Well, authorities say that he was threatening a classmate for months, and that Calicut knew that Isaiah Phillip had a gun and was going to fire their shots, and then called the classmate's mom days later admitting that he knew this was going to happen. What's your response to that?
And let me say this, that is a lie. That's an absolute lie. Let me give it a little more crystal clear to you. These young people, especially in athletics, threaten each other all the time. But those threats are not the same type of threats we see in the streets. You with me? So they were beefing from different sides of the ball. Defense, offense. They always checking each other like that. If you understand sports, understand athletics and football, that's what they do. But this was not threats of like killing you in the streets, shooting you in the streets. Not that type of threatening. That's an exaggeration by the detectives in this case. And all they had to do was speak to him. It seems to me that they spoke to several others, but you never tried to speak to him. Had you spoken to him, you would have learned with factual information that he was a victim in the vehicle that night. We dispute that lie.
So you're saying that no detective ever showed up here at the
No,
house asking questions?
not one.
So I'm reading this directly from the affidavit here. They attempted to reach the defendant, Mr. Calicut, on July 6th and was told by Calicut's father, sir, in the white shirt in the back there, that he would need to be interviewed at a later time and that the affiant could not speak with the defendant at the residence.
Now, let me clear.
So are you saying that's a bold-faced lie?
Oh, let me correct you. It's a bold-faced lie. Hell, I was on the speaker. I remember the night vividly. It was in the morning. I was on the speaker. We recorded the entire event, sir. You're right, it's an absolute lie. No detective, no detective. Let me make it clear to you, sir. I'll release the appropriate people. But let me say this to you, sir. Not a single detective, I repeat, and I put this on everything. Not a single detective came by here to interview this family.
Sir,
that is an absolute lie.
Stop by or no?
Did the detective come by here, want to speak to you, brother,
On
at
the
all?
night of July 6th, did the detective
The
come by your
police
house
were
right
called. The police came when they called the police about their vehicle being shot. They called the police about their vehicle being shot.
On
But
July
no
6th.
detective came by to speak to them.
On July 6th, did the detective, come by and attempt to speak to your son? Yes or no question?
I'll have to answer that at a later date.
So
So you don't recall?
So
if the
what
defendant
time
or
was
the
that?
detective
What
tried to
time? What
speak to you?
time was that, sir?
It doesn't specify. It just
Okay,
says
so
on the
July 6th. Let's be clear. They called the police. Okay, the family. Let me be clear with you, and I'm sharing a little bit more than I wanted to share. They called the police because when the vehicle got home, it had been shot. The vehicle had a bullet in it. Okay, they called the police and said, "Hey, our vehicle's been shot." Then the police came and took a report. Not a single detective, let me be crystal clear with you, not a single detective ever came by here, and they were told we would send somebody by. We would send somebody by to interview your son and you. Somebody will probably contact you on tomorrow or maybe on Monday. Let me make it crystal clear to you what was said. They said somebody will come by, but a patrol officer came by here and took that report on the 6th, not a detective. And they promised them that once somebody is assigned to the case, then they will make contact with you to interview your son and you all at that time. Nobody made contact after the night that they called the police and said, our vehicle has been shot. Those are the facts, my friend. Next question.
Are you saying that Chace wasn't willingly hanging out with
Chace, let me make it crystal clear to you. We're going to leave it at this. He did not commit a crime. He was a victim that night. We have proof.
Have
Yes.
police talked to Chace about Isaiah's murder and believe the two shootings are connected?
We don't want to get off into that.
Can you speak on the status of Chace and North Shore and University of Georgia at this point?
Right now, North Shore is a fine institution. Georgia is a fine institution. My son played at North Shore with this young man last year. They fought many battles on the football field. I know this young man personally. Hell, I would hug him and speak to him after every game. I am telling you, Georgia got a damn good ball player, and they got a very good kid of good character. Once the truth comes out, and it will come out, we believe he will be vindicated. Next question.
Chace.
He's not answering no
Chase,
questions.
please.
No,
You're
no
driving this
questions.
vehicle right here.
He's not answering no.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Who are you with?
I'm with KPRC.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah. So
No
my
questions.
question, I'll ask you
And his
to-
lawyer made it clear for no questions for him,
Sure.
but go ahead.
So the criminal complaint alleges that you were driving this Cadillac Escalade right here, and that at one point the driver, which is Chace in this case, slammed on the brakes in front of the victims in this situation. I understand that you're saying that you were not doing this out of your own will, that you were forced to do this, but why would you?
Sir,
why
let me
would you? Why would
let me
you
make it
allegedly slam
let
on
me
the brakes
let
in
me
the middle of
let
the
me make
roadway?
it crystal clear. Have you ever been in a vehicle yourself and been the victim of a criminal act? So then why would you ask a question from a perspective as though you would understand the reaction of somebody who's a victim on the night of that happening? Let me tell you something. His duty was to survive. His duty was to survive. And that's exactly what he did. And he was wise. And he was wise to do that. But we're not going to speak any more about that beyond this point. Because that, too, is a part of an ongoing bigger investigation into something else.
Are you saying that Mr. Phillip was threatening?
We're not answering that right now,
Well,
sir.
it's very convoluted. For
Sir,
us. We're trying to
sir,
understand.
and it's going to be convoluted until all the facts come out to some
Well, that's what
degree.
we're trying to learn, facts.
Next question. Oh, this ain't going to be no, this case is not a 100-yard dash. This could possibly be a marathon. You're going to have to ride this out with us. Next question.
What does this mean for his football future? He's committed to Georgia.
We're,
He still has a
we believe that once all the facts come out, they will learn that this young man was a victim that night, not a perpetrator of a crime. Any more questions?
Complicating things is what happened to Isaiah, right?
I don't want to speak about that. It's unfortunate what has happened to Isaiah. It's tragic what has happened to Isaiah. Our prayers are with Isaiah's family, and it's unfortunate. It really, really is. It broke my heart when I heard. Isaiah was a kid who had also great potential too. But it's unfortunate what's happening out here in these streets, man. And it's bad. I hate what happened to Isaiah, I really do. His family are in our prayers. Let the young man rest in peace.
He had been on the football team prior.
So that's all we want to say about this. Thank you all for your presence. Thank you for your time.